Okay, let's talk about cursed items that my players forgot about, but I didn't. The first one, the Pebble of Inconvenience. This particular pebble shows up at the most inconvenient times. An acrobatics check to grab a ledge. They reach for it, they grab. Pebble. Players going for the long jump to escape this horde of kobolds. Pebble. Player attempting to climb a steep cliff with minimal hand grips. Pebble. It's nothing major, but essentially this pebble gives a -2 to their checks. I usually introduce it after they find it in a loot hoard. You know how players are, they paw through the loot, it's a rock, and I casually mention it and they toss it. Most will catch on after the second time you say, a pebble did it. If they can keep the pebble within sight, it does nothing. But the second it becomes unassuming, that's when it shows up. Let's talk about cursed items that my players forgot about, but I didn't. Number 2, the emergency healing potion. This handy dandy little flask heals for 1d4 plus 1. Again, it's not the best, but hey, you know what? It's an emergency one, and it refills every day. If the players don't use it, nothing happens. At the end of the month, the flask takes its toll. Rent's due, baby! And it sucks for whoever's carrying the flask at the time. That flask takes every ounce of HP it's healed that month. And if the player can't pay it, that's okay. We do installment plans. Let me get that permanent HP. Cursed items that my players forgot about, but I did in part 3. The gold goblin tooth. After your players have inevitably killed a couple of goblins, one of them's going to spit out a gold tooth. Extra loot. Yes! This innocuous looking thing can sell for about 3 silver. But should any of them dare to stick it in their mouth? And let's be real, our players are giant toddlers, they're going to do it. That's when the curse kicks in. They're going to think you're a mean SOB for this one. Every time your player talks, they need to make a performance check to be the best linguist they could possibly be. If they roll less than 10, they bite their tongue. Saying the blood jet out will then make them take a negative to their persuasion check, intimidation check, or whatever social check you're having them do. On the plus side, if they can speak Goblin, they can speak fluently without having to make the check. Cursed items that my players forgot about, but I didn't. Part 4. The Ring of Protection. This particular ring is actually carved out of stone and is not made from metal. After a day of attuning to the person wearing it, runes start to glow on it. And it's just like any other ring of protection. It gives your player +1, 2, or 3 AC, whatever you see fit. The real fun part is when they put it on, it's a +3 because then they never want to take it off. And most players won't catch this until they're in combat. The rogue goes for a sneak attack, rolls 2 dice, 16 and a 17. Hit. Here comes your frontline barbarian. Whap. 17. Miss. So the fun part is anyone who they attack gets that +3 modifier to their defense. It's a ring of protection, all right, just not for you. Cursed items that my players forgot about, but I did in part 5. Let's go. Now, this one is near and dear to my heart because it went over a 2-year campaign. Allow me to introduce Patricia. Now, Patricia's nothing more than your standard little dog, but a little girl's soul has been trapped inside. Do the epic montage to release this poor trapped child. Now, Patricia works best when given to any kind of caster as a free familiar. Free, you say? And she follows all of the familiar rules. Now, here's why it's important for dungeon masters to keep track of all of their players' loot. And also why I give out tons of magical gear. Slowly have Patricia start taking their magical gear and applying the effects to her. Your wizard's mind will be blown as his familiar all of a sudden can tank, fight, cast spells. They're gonna love it. It's essentially a mascot that actually does something. Patricia's effect takes a hold the first time the player hits 0 HP. Any damage Patricia takes, the caster takes double. Seems like a fair trade. Why is this a problem? Patricia is self-sacrificing for the group. Had a player walk out of a game. First items my players forgot about, but I did in part 6. The ball of string. Now everybody loves string. It can be used in so many ways. Fishing, tie stuff up, put it around your little finger for a reminder. What's better than a never-ending ball of string? Oh, here we go. After exactly 3 pieces are cut from this ball of string, it doesn't matter the length. The curse triggers. The ball itself infinitely unravels. It doesn't matter if it's in a regular backpack, a handy haversack, or a bag of holding. All items become entangled by it. Anything out of your bag that you need right there and then requires a DC 10 sleight of hand check. But my bag brings it automatically to my hand. Yes, I know. Too bad it's wrapped in string. The cleric quit mid-game because he fumbled this healing potion 4 times out of his bag. I let him use everything. Action, reaction. I let him use his movement to try and get it out. He didn't quit the game, but that's what you get for dumping decks.